property. It's not like I'm
Where's your place here?
Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, it's nice.
I love Sherman Oaks.
Yeah, because we're out in May.
I know you guys are going.
Yeah,
you
Brian's there already.
What
I
have you? I
May
probably already
26th.
explained. This might be a repeat for your audience, but what was the decision that made you guys go? We're going.
It was what you said to me, to be honest with you. Rogan said after I shot my special, he said, move here. It'll change your career. And then you said, you're just going to become a road comic. You're just out here isolated.
You're that guy.
And
That's
don't
just on
be
the
that
road
guy.
and you're not a
Go
comics
to
comic.
Austin. And I
Like
was
Brian lost his peers. I was like, you got to be out in Austin. And then I said, I'm going. Remember? I was like, I'm going.
How'd you convince you? What made you want to go?
The fires.
Me too.
Okay.
The fires are what
That was my
started.
last straw.
He says fires, but he didn't live anywhere near them, but that's a
It
different
just
story.
bothered me. I was like, I'm done with this fucking
But the fires were right by us, and we lost power for 2 weeks, and then we couldn't be in the house. And then we have this big gate, like this security gate to get in and out, and the gate wouldn't work. And we had to like rush out, and I'm there pulling it, and my hair's in my face. That's when I cut my hair shorter. So I was pulling it in the wind. My wife looked at me and was like, oh, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Because I was trying to get her out during COVID. I was like, you're down? She's like, I'm down. Put the house for sale like a week later, and boom.
Good.
Off to the races.
Yeah, those fires were real eye-opening. I was telling everyone, I was like, you thought I was annoying about politics before. Now they fucking set all my friends' houses on fire and then acted like, oh, what don't worry, we'll rebuild. Like, like, dude.
And then talking to insurance companies,
So
like,
fishy.
we can only insure you for $3 million. It's like, but the house is worth a lot more than that.
It's such
So I'd be
garbage.
on the hook for the rest. They're like, correct. I'm like, I'm out.
I would love, I wouldn't love it, but I would be interested to see how optimistic Gavin Newsom was if it was his house on fire.
Correct.
Because this whole like, guys, you know, everyone get like, you're getting carried away. It's like, no, we're not getting carried away. Losing your entire home,
Dude, let me tell you
is a
something.
pretty
All
big
your
deal.
money's in it.
I just had the guy on the Santa Monica Coalition. He's a business owner. He's the guy who was telling me about what's really going on in Los
Mm-hmm.
Angeles politics. We all lay it down at Gavin Newsom. Let me tell you something what happens when you're Gavin Newsom. You want to do any kind of a project, you'll be litigated every step of the way. And you ain't doing shit without the city council. You want to make a change in this city? The Santa Monica City Council and the LA City Council has socialists on it. They're not even Democrats. They're socialists. And they are anti-growth. Gavin Newsom will tell you that. They're anti-growth. And they look at the homeless problem as, and let me give you a couple stats. It's not just a positive.
Money maker.
They look at it as a housing issue when it's an addiction mental health issue without a question. On top of the fact that the kind of service they give, like Barbara Ferreira, you know that the woman who had us all in masks?
Yeah.
Who looks like a White Walker?
Yeah.
She's got this needle exchange program. So in Santa Monica, we not only we give them checks, we give them places to shelter up. We let them camp out, even though it's a violation of the law they just passed.
Wait, are you trying to tell us Newsom doesn't suck?
And all of these needles exchanges, all of that shit is basically deliberate. And so what happens is 95% of our homeless issue are transients from out of state. They're not living here. They come from other places.
Well, they want to come
know
there
they
because
can
it's
come to the
safe,
beach.
but also the weather.
All of that.
The weather's
so in
good.
Santa Monica,
There's no winter.
So check this out. In Santa Monica, the mall, that 3rd Street Promenade Mall on the far end, 75% vacancy. The entire 3rd Street Promenade, which used to be the fucking greatest place,
best.
they're renting by month, and people are leaving. There are more fires. There are 7 overdoses a day. 7 overdoses a day in MacArthur Park, and there are 5 overdoses a day in Reed Park. So it is an outrage. And every one of these assholes on the city council who's a socialist thinks there's no problem.
Karen Bass is a proud Marxist, and
She's
said it.
the worst.
So that's not even a slander. That's what she calls herself.
But it's-
also, they lost $23 billion for homeless people just in California.
Yeah, but nothing's going to
23
change.
billion.
We can talk all we want. Nothing's going to change until people start voting for their city council.
But how, Brian?
You get involved in city
you
politics.
can't find any information about these
That's
people.
the problem.
So you try to look up the person who just goes to their website.
I know.
You think on their website they're
I know.
talking about how
Well,
they're socialists or anything?
Well, now they're changing.
So,
now America. So there's also a coalition of 5,000 people.
you can't even
that
get
are
people to vote
old
for president. How are you going to get them to get involved in city council?
The
Mail-in
point is
ballots.
that getting involved in city politics is going to affect your life way more than voting for a president. Way
yeah,
more.
but it's way more complicated.
Yeah,
So
you're
out of,
trying to
out of
live.
77,000 eligible voters in Santa Monica, 20,000 voted for city council members.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough.
And most of these chimps just go, I vote for red.
How many different lies can these guys tell? I mean, the moving to Texas thing, Callan isn't near any of the fires. He's moving there because he got a residency at Joe Rogan's club. Why doesn't he just say that? I'm sure Schaub probably did say, all right, dude, move down there. Callan had no idea Schaub was going to be following him. I think Callan was just like, yeah, I'm moving to Texas, so obviously the show is not going to continue because you're going to be here in Los Angeles still. It's one of those things where he didn't have to officially quit because he thought it was just going to be obvious by him moving. He had no idea in his mind that Schaub was actually going to follow him down there and try and keep the podcast going. Because remember, Brian Callen could have moved to Texas a while ago because when he was on Steven Crowder's show, that's one of the requirements that Steven Crowder has. We know from the Dave Landau situation. It's not the only requirement, but it's one of them that you have to move to Texas. And Callen refused to do it at the time, but now he's doing it because he's got the residency at the Comedy Mothership, Joe Rogan's club. But, I mean, Schaub and his lies about moving the wife is so against it. But I think Schaub finally just approached her and was like, look, I can't afford to live here. Daddy's only giving me so much money. I can't be I'm wasting all of his money with renting a space here and stuff. We need to downgrade. And if we want to keep this lifestyle, we're going to have to move to somewhere else in which we can do it. So they're all packing up and moving to Texas. And, you know, Mrs. Schaub is completely 100% against it. But she's going to have to do it because it's not like she has a job. So now she's going to have to give up on her dream. Remember, her dream was she still wants to be an actress, but can't do it if you're living in Austin. And what, Schaub just going to go bother Callen at the Comedy Mothership because Schaub completely quit doing stand-up comedy and doesn't even pretend to do stand-up anymore. So he's going to be sitting there trying to use Joe Rogan's name in Austin, Texas now instead of here like I live there, but in L.A. But the fact that they just keep lying, just say, look, I'm following down Callen. Our podcast is dead. We got nothing else going on for us. That's all they should just tell the truth. But they won't. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.